Have you ever just had that feeling of absolute control over something or somebody? No matter how distant your being is from them, you just feel that, oh, if I do this, they're sure to bend to my every need. For example.
Man, this person is so attractive, like, wow. Yeah, they'll take it.
I feel this way about a video game company. Nintendo always does their best to market their products towards being as consumer friendly as possible. They also released a Wii game for $60 in 2021. The reasoning behind standardizing this price is that they don't want any of their games to seem less valuable than others, which is a similar reason as to why these games rarely go on sale. They feel as soon as they lower the price, the game is forever devalued, and furthermore they think devaluing products by letting them go on sale influences consumers to wait for better deals later down the line. I think one thing Nintendo has failed to realize is that their fanbase is stupid as hell. Yeah, most Nintendo fans aren't gonna wait 2 years to play the new WarioWare. But hey, to stop this from happening, let's value a 10-year-old Wii game at the same price as our revolutionary new open-world game that came out 5 years ago in Breath of the Wild. And Nintendo says lowering the price will devalue these games? But this is what Nintendo does. They sit on their throne testing out all these financial strategies that would kill smaller companies, but they get away with it because their fan base is really dumb. Well, one of these new strategies has been to release games unfinished and market the content that should have been in the original game as a huge update later down the line, and they still released the game for $60. There are a couple examples of this over the past few years, with the biggest being Animal Crossing New Horizons. The game was marketed with seasonal updates, which I mean, yeah, that could be cool. But they only kept this going for 1 year, meaning it wasn't just based on the season of the year it was in, but that it was just content withheld from the original game. To add to this, the newest update, which added The Roost, came over a year after the game came out. I mean, by releasing it this late, nobody's ever going to play it because they've simply already moved on from the game. The way Nintendo sees it, however, we'll just happily update our games, thanking the gods for having graced us with coffee and some new DIY recipes a year and a half after the game was released. Not even Nintendo fans are that stupid. But I mean, it could be fun. But this isn't the only time Nintendo's done this. With the announcement of Mario Golf Super Rush, Nintendo showed off several cool features such as the Speed Golf and Battle Golf modes, and then a tag that showed us that free updates with new maps would be added down the line. The new maps, for what they were, actually looked really cool, even including one themed off of New Donk City from Super Mario Odyssey. But oh my god, it is so frustrating to get this announcement and not be able to play it for months after the game's release. By doing this, they sort of revolutionized what they did with Animal Crossing. They let the consumer know early that the big update would be coming, but this now sort of goes against what they said about keeping prices constant, because now, if anything, it kind of encourages the consumer to wait to buy the game, because the ones who bought it on launch would probably be burned out of the game by the time this update came out. Have I mentioned how stupid Nintendo fans are, by the way? The most recent example comes in the form of Nintendo Switch Sports, the game which obviously was a ploy to get people who bought Wii Sports, which was most people, to pay $60 for a fairly low effort game, but it left out golf. Golf? Sure, sidelining Mii's and having sportsmates or whatever be the focus of the game, I don't like it, but at least you're trying something new. But by holding out a game mode as simple as golf, despite having gameplay footage of it for the reveal trailer, shows how obvious it is Nintendo was just withholding content to get consumers back into the game at a later date. Knowing how devious Nintendo is these days, they probably hope little kids lose the game cartridges because of how small they are, and are then encouraged to buy new ones to have a chance to play these new updates that should have been in the original game. It really would not shock me with how devious these business strategies are these days. In conclusion, Nintendo's going down a pretty dark business path right now. For all we know, they're going to withhold the final boss from Breath of the Wild 2 for a couple months because, oh no, it wasn't ever planned to be in the original game. This business model needs to stop, but the problem is, Nintendo fans are going to fall for it every time because, oh my god, they are so stupid. Nintendo Switch Sports is really, really fun, by the way.